Good day, everyone. Welcome to episode 8 of the season 1, The Intelligence Layer. Today, we are going to discuss the bullwhip effect. So, your supplier just doubled their safety stock. Nobody told you, nobody noticed. Consumer demand went up 10%, raw material orders went up 80%. Nothing unusual happened over here. No one made a mistake. Every single decision in the chain was completely rational. That is the bullwhip effect, and it is happening in your supply chain right now. $350 billion annually in supply chain cost from this one structural phenomena. Excess inventory, emergency freight, production volatility, and write offs. But the most counterintuitive thing about it is these are rational decisions made in isolation which are producing an irrational collective outcome. Today, what causes it, how to measure it, and how to stop it is going to be discussed. Please stay with me. So, before we go forward, let us see where this came from. MIT 1960s, J. Forrester runs a simple simulation. 4 players: retailer, wholesaler, distributor, factory. One small demand increase from the consumer, every player manages their own inventory, makes their own rational decision. By the time that signal reaches the factory, it is 8 times larger than the original change. Nobody made a mistake, the system created it. That simulation became the beer distribution game. For 60 years, it has been teaching supply chain professionals the same lesson. You can give every player perfect information, perfect systems, perfect training, and the bullwhip still emerges. Not because people are irrational, because the system design creates it structurally. Fast forward to today, real time data, cloud visibility, AI powered planning deployed across major supply chains, and the bullwhip is still coming, costing to $350 billion a year. More data did not fix it, coordination does. The inside has existed for 60 years, the tools exist now. The question is no longer what causes it, the question is why we have not designed it out. So it was discovered 60 years ago, documented for 30, still costing $350 billion annually. The insight existed before the tools exist now. The question is why have we not designed it out? So, customer order decoupling point. This is the point in your chain where you switch from forecast driven to demand driven. Before we go into this, let me put this across in a much simpler way. Push means your demand plan runs the chain. Pull means the customer order runs the supply chain. The CODP is the line between them. Push versus pull is not just an inventory strategy, it is a bullwhip multiplier. And the multiplier is determined by where you place your CODP. Full push chain, make to stock from raw materials forward. Every single tier is forecasting. Every single tier is adding a safety buffer. The consumer signal never reaches the manufacturer in real time. It arrives filtered through 4 layers of forecasting error. That is why amplification runs 6 to 8 times maximum bullwhip exposure. If you think about the hybrid model, assemble to order, you hold components in forecast driven inventory. Final assembly waits for the actual consumer order. Your CODP sits mid chain. Components still amplify. Finished products do not. Amplification drops to 3 to 4 times moderate exposure. And when we talk about full pull, make to order, the consumer signal reaches you directly. No forecast in between. No buffer compounding across tiers. 1 to 2 times and minimal exposure to bullwhip effect. The further upstream your CODP, the more tiers operate in push mode, the worse your amplification. This is not a forecast accuracy problem, this is a system architecture problem. Where you place the CODP determines how much bullwhip you structurally build in. So here is what makes the bullwhip effect so difficult to address. You cannot fix it by finding the person who made the wrong decision, because nobody made a wrong decision over here. Every player in the chain was making a completely sensible choice with the information they had. Consumer demand goes up 10%. The retailer sees this and thinks, I need to order more. But how much more? Is this a temporary spike or a genuine trend? And if I run out of stock, I lose the sales and potentially the customer. So I do not order 10% more, I order 25% more. A perfectly rational safety decision. When it comes to the distributor now receives a 25% order increase from the retailer. Same logic. Is this a trend? If I under order from the manufacturer and shortages happen, I fail my customer. They add their own buffer, they order 40% more from the manufacturer. The manufacturer sees a 40% order increase. They have no visibility of the original 10% consumer uplift that started this entire chain. All they can see is 40% more orders. They schedule 60% more production and signal 80% more raw materials. Every single player made a rational decision. The retailer should buffer, the distributor should buffer, but the buffers compounded, and a 10% consumer demand change became an 80% raw material order. This is not a behavioral failure, it is a system design failure. The slide shows a formula: two standard deviations orders to suppliers divided by sales to customer. That ratio is your amplification score. A number above 1 means the bullwhip is present. Look at the 12-month example. Sales to customers steady. The range is 970 to 1060. Standard deviation of 26 units. This is calm and predictable. Now look at orders to suppliers over the same 12 months. The range is 850 to 1300. Wild swings. Standard deviation of 143 units. Divide those two numbers and you get 5.4, meaning this operation is ordering with 5 times more volatility than it actually is selling. The diagnostic on the slide tells you what to do with that number. Above 1, bullwhip is present. Above 2, structural problem, investigate this quarter. Above 3, your supply chain is absorbing costs spread across too many budget lines to be visible as a single number. The formula is simple, the number is honest. Most supply chains have never calculated it. Your supply chain can this week. So there is a belief in a lot of organizations that the bullwhip effect is a people problem. Buyers gaming the system, irresponsible ordering. The fix in that worldwide view is discipline. Tighter controls, approval thresholds, warnings to buyers. That belief is wrong. Not partially wrong, structurally wrong. The bullwhip is caused by rational behavior operating inside a system that has no mechanism to prevent rational buffers from compounding. The buyer who overorders during a shortage is not gaming the system. They are responding exactly as the system incentivizes them to respond. Which means the fix is not discipline. The fix is redesigning information flows, sharing POS data upstream, allocating on historical patterns, increasing order frequency, moving to everyday pricing. The question at the bottom of the slide is the one to take into your next SNOP. Are your MOQs, your volume thresholds, your promotional calendar structured in a way that creates upstream amplification? So you cannot discipline your way out of a system design problem. You have to design your way out. So let us now talk about our 3 industries example, 3 completely different contexts, same structural failure every time. Semiconductors 2021. The automotive industry shuts down, cancels chip orders. 6 months later, demand recovers faster than anyone expected. Every tier places orders simultaneously. The recovery triggered 2 to 3 times the normal order volumes at foundry level. By 2023, massive glut. Your smartphone upgrade created the semiconductor crisis 9 months before it hit the headlines. Go through the semiconductors online and you will come to know exactly what this says. Now we talk about the agricultural industry. The grower receives a retailer forecast in January, plants in February, harvests in July. They cannot unplant. The crop is committed 6 months before actual demand arrives. Retailers over forecast 20%, growers plant 20% more, consumer demand stays flat. The amplification happens before the demand signal even arrives. Now, I have taken an unusual example. A Korean drama went viral in late 2021. 111 million streaming accounts in the first 28 days. Every studio globally chased the next hit. K drama commissioning surged. By late 2022, the market was saturated, a production bullwhip driven by algorithmic amplification of one signal. So, semiconductors, agricultural, and streaming industry. The industries could not be more different. The structural failure is identical. Bullwhip does not care about the product, it cares about how you run the system. So, we will take a live example now. A freight forwarding company working with a consumer goods client noticed the same problem every quarter. For a, for a few weeks, shipments would suddenly surge, warehouses became overloaded, and the transport costs increased. Then everything would slow down again and capacity would sit idle. At first, they thought customer demand was fluctuating, but demand was actually stable. The real issue was that the client was placing very large orders once every quarter to get better pricing discounts. That created artificial spikes in the supply chain. The market was stable, but the ordering pattern was not. Large parts of logistic capacity remained unused most of the month while the system kept preparing for sudden surges. Once the company moved to smaller quantity orders instead of large quantity orders, operations became much more stable and efficient. So, here the bullwhip effect was not coming from the market, it was being created by the ordering system itself. So, you have to clearly find out where the bullwhip is in your system. So, the slide maps 4 root causes to 4 fixes. Each fix is structural, not behavioral. That is the key distinction. So, signal distortion, every tier forecasting independently, adding its own buffer, filtering the real demand signal. The fix is sharing point of sale data across tiers, not forecast, actual consumer demand. When every tier sees the same signal, the distortion disappears. Shortage gaming, buyers over ordering during shortages because they know allocation will be rationed. The fix is allocating on historical order patterns, not on current orders. The moment over ordering stops working as a tactic, the gaming stops. Order batching, buyers consolidating orders to hit MOQ thresholds. The fix is increasing order frequency and reducing MOQs. Smaller, more frequent orders track real demand more closely. Price forward buying, buyers loading up before a promotion ends. The fix is everyday pricing. Remove the incentive to time the order and the batching disappears. 4 causes, 4 fixes, none of them involve blaming the buyer, all of them involve redesigning the system. So, here I have added something which is very interesting. The slide gives you four specific things to execute this quarter, not concepts, not framework, but these are actions. So, demand visibility, share raw POS data with your tier 1 suppliers. Remove smoothing from your demand signals, they are hiding the real consumer pattern. Set a data refresh minimum set time and a set target. Reduce forecast lag to 7 days or less. When your suppliers see what you see, the incentive to buffer collapses. The second is order policy reform. Eliminate volume discount thresholds. They are the primary driver of quarterly batching in most supply chains. Move to everyday pricing. Smaller, more frequent orders. Target a weekly ordering cadence with your key suppliers. The transaction cost of ordering more frequently is almost always smaller than the volatility cost of ordering less frequently. Capacity planning, buffer capacity, not inventory. Flex contracts with key suppliers rather than locked capacity. Supplier capacity visibility is a standard KPI. Target less than 15% idle time variance. If your suppliers are experiencing the surge idle cycle, your ordering pattern is probably creating it. Matrix and review. Calculate the bullwhip ratio monthly. Variance of orders divided by variance of sales. Track it by product family. Include it in your SNOP scorecard. Target a ratio below 2.0 within 6 months. What gets measured gets managed. What gets ignored will compound. So, four actions this quarter: demand visibility, order policy reform, capacity planning, and matrix. The organizations that have these in place do not have bullwhip conversations on the table, they have performance conversations. Now, three live signals what's going on right now. So, AI planning, every major ERP and supply chain platform is now offering AI powered demand planning. The problem, AI learns from historical data. If your historical ordering data already contains bullwhip patterns, amplified orders, shortage gaming spikes, batching cycles, the AI will learn those patterns and scale them. Audit your training data before you switch on AI planning. If the bullwhip is embedded in your history, the AI will industrialize it. Post 2020 volatility market, the most demand planning models were calibrated on pre-pandemic data, 2017, 2018 and 2019 baselines. The demand environment has changed structurally, as you know. Models calibrated for a pre-2020 world are generating forecast for a post-2020 reality. If your safety stock calculations, your reorder points, if any of these are still running on pre-pandemic parameters, you are operating with a model that does not know the environment has changed. And the third is ERP migrations. The go live is the window. Once the dashboard is configured and the system is live, that configuration persists for kind of 5 to 10 years. If you are in a migration right now, mandate the bullwhip ratio as a standard KPI before go live. Once the window closes, getting it added becomes a project, a budget, and approval cycle. The time to do it is now. AI will scale what it learns. Old models will forecast with old parameters. Migrations will lock in what you configure. The action in all three cases is the same: act before the window closes. So this week, calculate your amplification ratio, pull 12 months of your orders to your top suppliers, calculate the standard deviation, pull the same 12 months of your own sales to customers, calculate the standard deviation, divide the first number by second. Above 1, bullwhip is present. Above 2, you have a structural problem worth investigating this quarter. Above 3, your supply chain is absorbing cost spread across too many budget lines to be visible as a single number. Now ask which of the 4 root causes is driving it. The cause tells you the fix. The fix is in this episode. So, next episode, CPFR. I'll see you there. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for joining. This is SCM Decoded, the global supply chain community.